I oh, so strange not being able to see your smiling faces. Good morning. I am I as you know, this was the week that the last episode of Supernatural aired, and I finished my stint of shooting on Supernatural, which we a long time ago in March. And so I've had a lot of time to process the end, and we all did when we had that big hiatus that we took for COVID. Um, but I kind of thought that I had mourned the passing of the show, and that I had had enough time to process it. And watching that last episode, it was quite an emotional experience for me. It kind of took me out for uh, a good couple of days, just because it for me personally, it represents the end of a chapter of my life. Um, and yet I do have this palpable feeling that this Supernatural fandom isn't going anywhere, that somehow we're going to be able to we're going to be able to stick together as a clan of ne'er-do-wells going forward. So yeah, it's been a strange couple of days though. um, I feel like I'm just talking to myself on the screen. Does anybody have any questions they want to ask me, or Steph, do you want to bring in? I know we have a couple of fans that we can patch in on video here.
We'll bring them on as soon as they are logged in.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I'm reading some questions here. This is from Sabrina in Uruguay. I'm assuming she's in Uruguay because her handle is Sabrina Uruguay. Favorite memory, making a recipe with my kids and Vicky. Well, we wrote a cookbook last year, or actually 2 years ago. We published it last year, and the process of writing that was really born of doing these strange cooking experiments with West, where we just let him take run of the kitchen. And he I think when he made Thanksgiving dinner, which was pasta with jam sauce, that was probably my favorite moment in that entire cooking world with the kids. Very bizarre and totally disgusting. But thank you for the question. Victor Hugo. Hi, Misha. My question is, do you have any work or projects in mind for the future? Say hi to the Misha Migas squad. Hi, Misha Migas squad. Yeah, I do. I do have some projects in mind. I've been working on, I worked a lot on the presidential election and some of the Senate races for this recent U.S. election, and that was pretty invigorating for me. I'm going to do a little bit more work on we have a couple of Georgia Senate races that are coming up in January, and I'm going to do a little bit more work on that. And then I'm publishing a book of poetry, which I'm close to closing a deal with a publisher for that, which is very exciting for me. It's something that I've been kind of wanting to do for a decade or so, and it seems like I finally have the breathing room to do that. And I have a couple of film projects that I'm trying to get off the ground. One of them I wouldn't be in as an actor and probably won't direct. The other one I'm interested in directing and might act in as well. And yeah, that's I think that's all of my projects at the moment. I haven't, a lot of television production has been slow to ramp back up. I am interested in shooting something else, but I don't know. I'm also interested in taking a little time off. So I'm just letting things unfold naturally and seeing what seems most exciting to me. Herminia Canis says, hi, Misha. We know Jack brought Cass back, but we didn't get to see how that played out. What do you think happened, and what is he up to? Well, so there was a different ending originally to Supernatural that COVID restrictions made impossible to shoot. I don't know if I think we're not supposed to talk about what that ending was going to be, but it was very cool. But it involved bringing back lots and lots of cast members from over the years, and big crowd scenes, and both of those things were kind of non-starters because of COVID quarantines and COVID restrictions. So in the original iteration of the ending, Cass hadn't gone to rebuild heaven. He had a different. There was a different conclusion for him. So I actually, I purposefully did not read the last two episodes before they aired, because I just wanted to go on the journey as an audience member and see and watch the episodes, not knowing how the story was going to unfold exactly. I knew a little bit what Cass and Jack's fate were in the abstract, just from conversations. But because I wasn't in it, I don't know what the answer is. I think that Cass and Jack are, I mean, there's something about Jack's monologue where he said, I'm going to be imbuing every blade of grass, and I will be everywhere. That kind of transcendent interpretation of God, I think, is lovely, and I think that it also implies that there's some sort of more ethereal, metaphysical quality to how Jack and Cass go on to rebuild heaven. Perhaps it's a little bit less boots on the ground and more on a spiritual plane. That's sort of what I was imagining, because I think that that's how Jack had to wind up. And if Jack and Cass are working together, I assume that they're doing it maybe on a similar. This is really weird. Similar energetic level. It's pure speculation, because we really didn't explore that. That is, frankly, that's a storyline that will be probably better fleshed out in fan fiction than it will as I just extemporaneously riff here. I'm gonna see if I can find some more questions here. Oh, hi, Steph.
Hi, we have our first fan question on screen for you. You ready?
I don't think I am ready, but I'm gonna try.
Okay, this is Victoria.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I am fine, and you?
I'm good. Where are you?
Yes.
Where are you? Are you in Brazil? Where are you?
Yes, Brazil.
Where in Brazil are you?
Brazil loves you, Misha.
Thank you. I love Brazil. Are you in Sao Paulo?
No, Rio Grande do Sul.
Where?
Rio Grande do Sul.
Okay. I don't know where that is. Is that in the north?
Sorry, my English is.
Do you have a question that you want to ask?
Okay, my question is, what was West and Mason experience of watching a full Supernatural episode for the first time? And I also wanted to tell you something, Misha, which is that I love you and that Brazil loves you. Thanks for Castiel. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. That's very sweet. My kids don't. They can't watch scary things at all. So they haven't watched a full episode of Supernatural until the finale. But I was with the kids, and I knew I had to watch that last 2-hour special as it aired. So I decided to let them watch along with me, and predictably, I was like, Weston Mason said, Dad, will you just tell us, if there's a scary part coming up? And I said, well, unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm not going to be able to tell you when it's a scary part. I mean, I think we might be able to discern. And then, of course, the episode starts with these evil clowns decapitating a family, and it's quite horrible and absolutely terrifying. Like the kids getting dragged out from under the bed, and both of my children looked totally shell shocked. So Supernatural might, it might have been good for my career, and it might have built up a big fandom around the world, but it also has irrevocably traumatized my 2 young children. So there's a trade-off there. They they did West immediately when we were done with the episode. He was like, "All right, I need to watch something else to get that out of my head." And I said, "Okay, what do you want to watch?" And he said, I'm going to go watch Curb Your Enthusiasm." I thought it was funny that his palate cleanser, his emotional palate cleanser, was Larry David, which is really not an appropriate show for children either. So I think all in all, I'm doing a pretty shitty job insulating my children from the horrors of the world. That's the takeaway for me. Brazil, man. I think I was planning to go to Brazil for a convention last December, and then maybe this coming December, and both of them didn't end up working out. So maybe I'll be in Brazil in another year or so, if we get a vaccine that works around the world. All right, I'm gonna find more. Wait, I know what I need to do. I need to go into that. Holy smokes, guys! You're typing questions really quickly. Hold on, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to screen cap so I can. Can you guys just slow down? Okay, here we go. Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm from Brazil. Hi, Victoria. I am. I I have a question here from I can't pronounce it. Apollinaria. From Polina. Hi, Polina. Polina from Russia, and I wonder what qualities Castiel is like with you. And am I ever going to Russia again? I would love to go to Russia again. I don't. I don't know if I've said a lot of bad things about Putin on Twitter, so I don't know if I would be like arrested when I arrived in Russia or not. But I would love to go back. I was just talking about going back to Russia yesterday. I really loved my last trip to Moscow. There are so many things about Castiel. It's really an interesting question. What qualities does Castiel have that are qualities of mine? I think there are a lot of them, and I think that that's because over time, the character melded with me, and I with him to an extent. Castiel was, when the show started, Castiel was just this he was a soldier. He was a warrior, and he was just bound and determined to serve the interests of heaven. And over time, we got to see him unfurl as a bit of a fish out of water who didn't quite feel like he fit in with either angels or humanity. He felt like a little bit of an outsider, and I think that's something that I have felt for much of my life. and he became, frankly, like softer and more sensitive, and and he always, he tried to do the right thing. He tried to be a good person. These are qualities that I have. But I don't think of myself as like a, a, a hardened warrior. And I think that that's how Cass was written at the very beginning. And I think that the writers realized that in order to have the character play to my strengths, he had to morph a bit. So I think that that's often true in television when there's a long-running character. You saw it happen even with like Friends. You saw the characters started as these sort of caricatures on Friends, and then after just about a season, they became a little bit more suited to the actors that were playing them. And I think we had that happen on Supernatural with Cass and Sam and Dean, the characters that lasted the longest on that show. I think ultimately ended up morphing a little bit into the actors that played them. Okay.
Okay, we've got your second fan on-screen question. Her name is Jennifer.
Okay.
Hi, Misha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. First, I want to say I love you and you're amazing.
Oh, stop. Where are you in the world?
I'm in New Jersey.
Ah, lovely. Are you in a bedroom?
I'm in my attic, actually.
Yeah, it looks like you have a sloped ceiling above
I
you.
do. It's it's the very top of my house. Yeah.
Why do they keep you in the attic?
Well, this is where I just keep this is where my bedroom is, and I have my Chromebook set up here. So,
perfect. Great.
But yeah.
I spent about 20 minutes before we started this trying to find a spot where the light was not making me look like a ghost, and I kind of failed.
The lighting up here is terrible too.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's funny because you would think that after like Zooming for 7 months, I would have by now figured out how to like have an appropriate light, but no, I haven't. What's going on in New Jersey? Are you guys under like lockdown again?
Well, I think we're going to be. Honestly, things are opened up right now as far as minimal dining in and out of restaurants and bars and stuff. But I think it's going to go back to outdoors only. Yeah,
we just did that. I'm in Washington, and we just did that. So bars are closed, restaurants are outdoor only, and gyms are closed. And it's winter. Like, it's cold and raining. Nobody's going to be going outside to go out. Yeah. So it's all kind of shutting down again.
Yeah, the weather here is terrible too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's bad.
What questions do you have for me?
Well, I wanted to know, what is the one thing that you'll take with you from playing Castiel?
I don't know. I mean, I think there are a lot of things that I'll take with me from that experience. On a professional level, it was fascinating to be able to play a character for so many years. This is something that Jared and Jensen and I discussed recently. The characters really became kind of part of us in a way, which I don't imagine will ever happen again. It was just a function of how long we did this for. But when I was watching Dean's death scene, spoiler alert.
That's okay. I haven't had the courage to watch it yet.
I cried, but I was really crying because I was like, that's Cass's friend Dean dying. Like it's a weird thing on an emotional level to have a blurring of the lines between yourself and your character. And I think that happened with all of us. And it's just because we inhabited them for so long. It became like kind of a facet. The characters became facets of ourselves. And that's a take. I mean, I literally feel like I will take the character away. You know what I mean? Like he's he's always going to sort of be with me. He's going to be an aspect of my being forever, which is strange. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something I should maybe double down on therapy and try to untangle myself from this character. But yeah. And then I don't know. I mean, there's lots of things. I feel like the community that sprung up around the show is something that I'll take away. I have this perhaps naive idea that the fandom itself won't go away, or at least won't go away right away. Like that, this community will still carry on after the show is done. And I feel grateful to be a part of that. I think this community does a lot of really lovely things and is also incredibly supportive of one another. A lot of things. I mean, it's such a big chapter in life, it's like 12 years of my life, and it radically changed the course of my life too. So, yeah, there you go. Do you have any other questions for me?
What is your favorite thing to bake with Weston Mason?
Oh, great question. Probably baking wise, I like to make pies, which is sort of strange because I don't love pie per se, but I do bake a lot of pies, and the kids do seem to love them. So that's probably my go-to.
What's your favorite kind of pie?
My favorite kind of pie? Good question. I think probably strawberry rhubarb, but yeah, strawberry rhubarb is pretty great. Yeah,
I'll have to try that one.
Do you do any baking?
I do. I've made pies. My favorite is apple. I bake a lot of cakes and cookies. I love to bake. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I don't bake enough cakes. I feel like we do it occasionally, but it's always for like a birthday or something like that. And
I saw the one that you and Mason made.
Yeah. There's they occasionally make some really disgusting things. You know what I made recently, which was really fun? Fortune cookies. Have you ever made them?
No.
They're super easy to make, and then you can put little messages inside.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did it with like really lewd and inappropriate fortune in fortune cookies, and it was incredibly satisfying. Yeah. So
I would love to try that.
Yes, do it. Well, it's lovely talking to you. What do you think? Do you think that how long have you been a part of the Supernatural fandom?
Probably for about 12, 13 years. Yeah.
And do you think that it'll carry on after the show is gone? I mean, they always say that there's sort of like a shelf life of fandoms, like they kind of dissipate after a show ends. How naive am I being in thinking that somehow this group of people will still keep talking to each other?
I don't think you're naive at all, Misha. Honestly, I think this fandom, this Hespian family will be together for a long time. Very long time.
All right.
We're a tight-knit group.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
All of us. Me too. Yeah. I believe that I am. And I believe that neither you or me are being naive about it.
Okay, good. Well, so you haven't watched that last episode, huh?
I haven't had the courage to, because I'll be watching it by myself, so I know I'll be in tears. I was already in tears on 15-18. Castiel is my favorite.
Oh, so. Yeah. I this is an embarrassing admission, but when I watched 15-18, I teared up as well. I was like, oh my God, I'm tearing up watching myself. What's wrong with me?
There's nothing wrong with that. It's been so nice talking to you. I wish we could stay and talk longer.
Nice talking to you. Take care, Jen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Cap again. Okay. Oh, Evergreen Ezra says, hi, thank you for doing this. I want to know if there's anything more you can say about the originally planned finale. Ezra, Illinois. I wish I could ask you. I don't know. Have other cast members disclosed what was going to happen there? Do we know? Steph, can you tell me that an answer to that question? Do you know if we've talked about that? I don't want to be the one that reveals these state secrets. Although, what are they going to do? Fire me? I mean, the show's over. I can't. I feel like somebody said to me, Misha, please don't reveal what was going to happen, but I can't remember for sure if that's true. Well, yeah, I'll tell you that it was a version. We saw a version of Sam and Dean's Heaven that was popular. I won't give you the details of it, but I'll tell you that it was populated with all of these people from their past, you know, like all of the characters in the show that we have come to love, that Sam and Dean had come to love over the years. They were there in this version of Heaven. But it was literally a matter of they practically could not do that because of COVID restrictions. So a new version of Heaven had to emerge. I am hi, Misha. This is Nicole from Puerto Rico. My question is, what is your favorite behind-the-scenes memory with the boys? I don't have a favorite memory. We were close friends for 12 years and got up to a lot of antics. We, like any group of friends, we had like laughing fits, and we had fights. We got pissed off at each other, and we also we had some of the some of my fondest memories of being at work anywhere were on Supernatural. Just a lot of laughing over the years. And I mentioned earlier, like, I'm never going to have the opportunity to play a character for so long again. I'm also never going to be on a set where there's just so much mirth. We were laughing all the time, and I'm going to miss that for sure. All right, I'm going to see if I have more questions here. Hold on, guys. Joe and Steve. Hi, Misha. This is Joe and Steve. We have a question that haunts us. Why, despite all of Castiel's deaths, did his trench coat remain intact? Well, we know that Castiel has the magical powers of mending and darning. When he lost the capacity to teleport, he didn't lose the ability to magically mend his clothing. It's a funny thing, the way we dealt with Castiel's wardrobe over the years, because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, it made no sense whatsoever. Castiel, if I got stabbed or shot or something in a scene, you would see a hole ripped in the shirt most of the time. However, sometimes if I got stabbed or shot, it didn't rip the shirt, or it would like immediately be repaired. Usually we made the decision that if Castiel got bloodied up or holes in his clothing, that those holes and that blood would stay for the rest of the episode, but that by the time the next episode started, he would be cleaned up. But that wasn't always the case. Sometimes he got cleaned up, in that same episode. And but always by the next episode, his wardrobe was fixed. However, sometimes, like, I said, I will talk about my trench coat for the next half hour. When we started the show, I went in for a wardrobe fitting, and they said, we want you to look kind of like Constantine. We're going to have like a trench coat and a rumpled suit underneath. And so they threw on this, like the first thing I tried on, I was like, all right, great, that's fine. It was the suit was like 3 sizes too big. The shirt that they put on, the white shirt that went with my suit, it had so much material that I had to like fold it in the back, just double it around and tuck it in because it was like 3 sizes too big. But I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do a couple episodes of this show. It doesn't matter. And then was like, okay, well, hold on now. Wait, I've been wearing this suit that is way oversized and doesn't fit me at all. And this trench coat, frankly, which is also kind of like boxy and huge for a really long time. I think it was, I don't know what season I was like, do you guys think there's any way we could justify in the storyline, like Castiel getting a new wardrobe that's a little bit, a little cooler looking, a little more tailor fit. And we did at some point. Well, I got a new suit first, and that was not explained at all. And Cass took off his tie and then didn't put it back on. And then I was like, really kind of the whole thing the tie did help. So then we put a tie back on, but also didn't really explain that. And then one season we just started the season with the Castiel and a new wardrobe, and also didn't explain that. So nobody really complained about that too much, miraculously. I stole some trench coats. I'm gonna admit that right now. I have them in my closet. So sometimes I'll probably just wrap them around myself and weep myself. I'll cry myself to sleep. Misha, hi, I'm Heba. How did you prepare for emotional scenes? Your performances were good. Thanks. Love from Morocco. Holy smokes, that's amazing. It's interesting. So one of the interesting things on Supernatural is I mentioned that we did a lot of laughing. And we had a lot of, we'd mess around with each other. We'd try to screw each other up in a scene. Like, Jared was always trying to make me laugh when it was my take during a scene. But every once in a while, we have a scene that's very emotional that has to be taken seriously. For example, Castiel's declaration of love scene, and when he gets taken by the empty, that was an emotional scene where I couldn't just be like fucking around on set and then snap into it. I needed to stay in the right mindset, and it's a little bit hard, like to be, for me anyway, like to get into like this emotional state. I need to kind of like be off by myself and not chatting with people. And so on that scene, I went and I sat just in a little folding chair in a dark corner of the stage and just sort of ruminated on my own. And then Rob Hader, who's our stunt coordinator, noticed that I was doing that, and he just stood sentinel, and it was really sweet. He just like, he could tell that I needed my space. And so he stood about 15 feet away from me during that, during the setups on that scene, and just like made sure nobody came and chatted with me. And I didn't ask him to do that. And then when on set, when they were ready, he came and he said, Misha, they're ready for you right now. And he literally escorted me onto stage so that nobody would like bother me. And I didn't ask him to do that, and I don't even know how he intuitively sort of picked up on the fact that I really needed to like keep the blinders on and stay focused. But it was it's an interesting thing, because on that set in general, we're a lot fucking around a lot, and but everybody like pivoted, in that scene, and of course when in Dean's death scene. To being like really focused and attentive and allowing the actors to do the weird psychodrama acting work that they do. Yeah. Hi. Okay. What other questions? How did you feel when, this is from Ferrum. Hi, Misha. How did you feel when you read the script where Castiel dies? I knew that ending was coming for a long time because I'd been talking to Bob Behrens, the writer, about it, and I was really happy with it. You know, it's kind of that was sort of the ending that I wanted for Cass, and so when I read the script, I was really happy that it had made it to the page, because it felt like it was a little risky and a little brave for the show to do, and I was happy to be a part of that, and happy to be able to have that character express love like that. So I was happy with it. Yeah. I've seen some people complaining about, like, this is playing into the bury the gays trope, which is an insidious and real trope in film and television storytelling from Hollywood over the years, and I don't think that that's what was happening with Castiel's ending. I mean, first of all, Cass is not dead; he's in heaven, and working to rebuild heaven. We know that, but also it was like so much good came from that declaration, because Cass was able to save Dean by the transitive property. He was also, like, that was absolutely essential to saving the world. So this declaration wasn't like, well, but then, then fate, strikes you down, and you're done forever. Actually, that declaration ended up yielding, like, literally saving the world, So, and it was also, it was of Cass's own volition. He wasn't, he wasn't forced to do that. That was his choice, and I think that's important too. So, I maybe I'm naive, but I don't think that that's operating there. I don't think we're playing into that trope. And I'm glad that Castiel got to express that and got to have that ending. I think it's kind of important. I'm proud that the show did that, frankly. But I'm sure this is a conversation that we'll continue to have as we dissect it going forward. Yeah. Okay. What other questions do you guys have for me here? This is from Dean Loves Cass. Hi, Dean Loves Cass. Do you think you'll ever get an SPN tattoo? I don't have any tattoos. I was thinking about getting tattoos related to my children. I don't know. Is that a sign of, like, desperation? Is that something that a true has-been would do, like a tattoo of the show that he used to be on? Should I get a tattoo of, like, Jared's face and Jensen's face? Just, like, cover my body in the faces of the characters from Supernatural? I could do that. I could just get a tattoo of Castiel's face on my abdomen. That could be really cool. That would be pretty sexy, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not on the tattoo from Supernatural for me. but if you want to get one, I'm totally supportive of that. Hi, Misha. I'm Jamie. What are 3 things that I do to be kind to myself? Oh, well, that's a sweet question. I think like most people, I have a tendency to not be terribly kind to myself and be hard on myself. But I find that, like, if I sleep, run, and meditate, and maybe do a little writing, I feel like I'm well taken care of. I do need to. I do this kind of annoying thing that I think a lot of parents probably do, which is I feel guilty that I'm not spending enough time with my kids. So then I like spend more time with my kids, but don't do all the stuff that I need to do to take care of myself. And then I'm sort of like grumpy and not a great parent. So there's a balancing act that I need to find of, taking care of myself, and so that I can show up well for other people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What was my Anna Xenova says, what is my favorite moment of the finale? My favorite moment of the finale was was Dean's death scene. I just thought it was really masterfully executed. First of all, I thought it was a really well done, excellent performances from both Jared and Jensen in that scene. I thought it really, it made me cry. So that's pretty good. Hi, Misha. What was your best memory of your last day on the Supernatural set? Well, I don't know. Everyone was being really sweet. There were a lot of tears from the crew and the cast. Everybody was just like, it was. So my last day on set, my last scene was the last. It was the last scene. The last scene that I shot as Castiel was the last scene of the day on a Friday. And me and Alex and Richard Speight and Jensen, we all had to to Las Vegas for a fan convention, a creation convention that was the next morning. So we shot late into the night. I think we finished around maybe 1:30 or something like that, and it was very teary. It was Cass's goodbye, but it was also my goodbye to the show. And then we had to get a chartered flight because I had to be working early in the morning, relatively early in the morning at the convention. And the only way we could get there on time was on a chartered flight. So we got on this plane at 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and we took off, and we got about 15 minutes into the flight, and there was this flash of light and a huge shattering boom sound, and one of the engines on the plane, one of the jet engines on this plane, exploded, literally exploded. And then the plane started just shuddering and screaming and shaking, and we had to circle back, and it was about 20. We had to circle back, and the plane was just shaking. I mean, it was like a jet that was shaking. It was really scary. And as we circled back to the Vancouver airport, the pilot had to kill a little time and flew out over the ocean and flew back because he had to wait for the emergency crews, the fire engines and stuff, for the emergency landing to show up on the tarmac. And when we finally came down at low enough elevation as we were coming in for a landing that we could pick up cell towers again, we were all texting, tell the kids I love them, because we didn't know if we were gonna crash when we landed. And it was such a strange night, because I said goodbye to Supernatural, said goodbye to Castiel, and then later in the night said goodbye to my kids. We all thought we were actually going to die that night. It was a super intense last day of shooting, for sure. This is from Quilled. Hi, Misha. Do you think Cass and the other angels got their wings back? Great question. Yeah, probably. If we're rebuilding heaven, we have Jack on our side, who is now the new god. Why can't we finally have our wings back? What a long and miserable experience that was of not having wings. It was Cass was so powerful when he started. He could just like snap his fingers and teleport anywhere in the world and time travel. And he lost all of that, just broken wings, and they never came back. You'd think that he would be focusing on trying to fix his wings all these years. I don't know why he didn't do that, because he would have been a much more powerful ally if he didn't have to drive around in the pimp mobile. I miss Castiel's car. That car that Cass drove around in, which we called the pimp mobile, it had hydraulics, so you could press buttons inside and it would like jump up and down the car. And we were on set one day and sitting in the car, and Jared started pressing the buttons, and the car started jumping up and down. The guy that owned the car that was renting it to production was like, "Stop, stop, stop!" And Jared was like, "Where am I?" Jump, 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 and then it, of course, broke, and it cost like $10,000 to repair. I shouldn't laugh. It's terrible. It's terrible. That's a terrible thing. All right. What other questions? This Emma Johanna Fox says, what job, non-hunter, would Castiel be good at? Love from Denmark. My God, there are people from all over the world here. So cool. I think Cass would be good. Cass would be a great security guard because he never sleeps. So he could just stand there, and he doesn't seem to get bored remarkably. So I think he'd be really top shelf in that department. What else would Cass be good at? I think he'd probably not be a great teacher. I have a feeling he's not a great architect or artist. There's something I can't imagine Cass like painting or drawing anything. But I could see him being kind of handy in the kitchen. Maybe a cook. Let's see how he performs there. This is from Demi. Hi, Misha. I'm Demi. In your opinion, what color are Castiel's wings? I don't know. I always thought they were black, but now that you say that, we only saw the shadows of the wings. They're rainbow colored. How about that? Hi, Rachel. So Rachel says, hi, Misha. What is the worst joke that Jared and Jensen did to you? Love from Italy. Jared and Jensen, as you know, they're not good people. And when I was directing an episode, they got really excited in the week leading up to that, and just started plotting all of the things that they were going to do to me while I was directing. And they were gonna try to break into my apartment and like steal my furniture. They were going to what else were they going to do? They had all kinds of nefarious plans. Luckily, some crew members tipped me off. They were like, Misha, don't let anyone get your car keys. Misha, don't let anyone, get the keys to your apartment. There was fish left under my seat in my car, and our third AD was like, Misha, I got to tell you something. There's something under the seat in your car. And I was about to go back down to LA for like a week, and if I hadn't known about that, can you imagine a piece of fish just sitting in your car for a week? But I think the moment that's standing out to me, one of the things that Jared and Jensen kept doing, we had these director's chairs that are kind of like, they're kind of stool height. You've seen them. It's the classic director's chair. So this is sitting in front of the monitors, and it has canvas that's pulled over the wood. They fold up. They're easy to move around, but the canvas is folded over the wood. And I would like run into set, give a little bit of direction, come back to my chair, sit down, and Jared will have taken the canvas off and just laid it across. So it looks like it's a chair, and then I'd sit on it and fall to the floor. And I fell for that probably 5 times. It kept happening, and I kept on not checking. That was pretty frustrating. There, and then there was a moment when I was in the other room watching on the monitors and directing from there, just like shouting over the wall, like, "All right, let's go again, keep rolling, blah blah blah." And Jared kept on messing up his lines, and I was like, "Jared never messes up his lines. What's going on here? Come on. All right, let's go again. I just kept shouting, "All right, let's keep trying. Let's go again." And then Jared kept messing up, and finally I was like, "All right, I got to go talk to him because I don't know what's going on." And I said, "All right, cut." And I walked into the door, into the Men of Letters set. And as I walked in the door, Jared pied me in the face. And at that point, the cameras were all turned around. Everybody in the crew was complicit in this assault. And I was like, "Oh, shit." Like, it was whipped cream pie, and it just was like all over me. And in my eyes, and I don't know if you've ever been pied in the face with whipped cream, but it leaves you like kind of, everything looks blurry for like 20 minutes. You just can't get the cream out of your eyes. And anyway, I cleaned up. I got a towel. I cleaned up as much as I could. Jensen brought me another shirt, which was nice. I put on the other shirt. We did another couple of takes. Jensen was like, "I'm sorry, man, that sucks. That was too much." And then it was lunchtime, and we walked outside, and Jensen said, "Hey, Misha," and I turned around, and Jensen pied me in the face. So that I would say that probably was the worst of it. Let's see. Any other questions here? This is Anna, also from Brazil. How do you think Cass felt when he found out Jack was the new god? I think Cass felt vindicated. Like, the sacrifice that he had made was worth it, because now we have this incredibly powerful ally on our sides. And yeah, I think that was, I think probably Cass felt like, "Oh, we did it. This is good." I mean, I'm sure he also feels concerned that Jack is no longer Jack, but Jack did stay Jack. He was a different version of himself, but he was still. You could tell that he was still at his core. He was still Jack. So I think he probably would feel good about it. Thanks for asking. This is from Yayla Mav. What is the real story behind the handprint in the finale? I don't know, but I think it was a nice touch. That was a really, really lovely callback. I thought it worked well. I can't remember how we came up with that, or if it was in the script. I don't remember. Sorry, I can't tell you. But wasn't it cool? Wasn't it a great callback to the very beginning? It was. I thought that was particularly poignant. This is Aria. Hi, Misha. My name is Aria. What is your favorite dad joke? The guy hears a knock at his door, opens the door, and on the front step, there's a little snail. He picks a snail up, throws it into the yard. 2 years later, hears a knock at the door, opens the door, same snail. The snail says, "Hey, what was that all about?" It's a great joke. This is Nastya Belova. Hi, I'm from Russia. What's your favorite memory from offline, online panels? I think that this is fine. What we're doing right now, this Zoom surrogate, but it's a surrogate. It's much more fun to be live and in person, be communicating with an audience. I don't know. I have had some really fun. Jensen and I have had some really fun panels together when in Rome. I don't know why, but we always just seem to have a real hoot there. we had a resume off where we read one another's resumes from our early years as actors and made fun of one another. And I really enjoyed that for some reason. We laughed our asses off, but we were also, let's be honest, we were on fire. We were firing on all 3 cylinders. I had pizza delivered to a creation panel once, and that for some reason was really fun and funny. Before now at creation events, we do this, there's a Saturday night special, and it's like this real full-on musical production that is quite extraordinary. And I can't wait till when, till when we can get back to that. But before that, they were creation, and we, the cast, were trying to figure out what can we do on a Saturday night. And I brought a woman up to do dog with her dog, who was trained to do tricks like whatever, jumps and things. And I brought a woman up with a trained dog on set for the precursor to the Saturday night special as like a weird talent show. And it was so sad. It was like it was like the definition of washed up, what unfolded there. So that was, I would say that for me was the bottom. That's where I bottomed out on stage. It's amazing to see the Saturday night special that has evolved from those first dog tricks. Tipping closes at the end of the panel. Get them now. Tipper supporter with a 5-minute. Oh yes, I'm reading the cryon at the bottom of my screen here. Last question is from Emily. Hi Misha, I'm Emily from Canada. My question is, what was your favorite version of Castiel to play? I often answer, I had the most fun playing Lucifer, because Mark Pellegrino had created such a great template for Castiel. I mean, for me to play as Castiel / Lucifer. I really loved playing the human version of Cass, because it was fun to just explore what it would be like to be human in a corporal body for the first time. It was an interesting thing to explore, and I wish we had more of that. But overall, just regular Cass, I think, was probably my favorite. I mean, it's the other ones pop out as like, that was interesting because I got to do that for a little while, but I wouldn't have wanted to trade just regular Castiel for any of the other iterations of Castiel. So I'm gonna say Cass was my favorite. Thank you guys. I can't wait till we actually get to see each other in person again. Maybe in just a few months that will start happening. I hope you all stay safe and take care of each other. Stay sane. It's a hard time right now. A lot of people are feeling isolated and alone, and a lot of people are going through economic and personal turmoil. And one of the nice things about this supernatural community is that we have all done a good job over the years of taking care of each other. So I hope you know that there are people here you can reach out to, and there's a community of support. And I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for coming to listen to me talk to myself on a screen. Miss you guys. Love you. Hopefully see you soon. All right. I think that's the end, right, guys?
That is the end, Misha. Thank you so much for being with us today and being a part of this mega super celebration. We can't wait to see you two in person, but until then, we're going to look forward to your upcoming projects. If you guys would like to learn more about his charity, please visit randomacts.org. All right, guys, tipping is now done, and we're going to bring you the results in just a few moments. But first, make sure you're signed up on our email list through our website, creationent.com, and follow us on social media at Creation ENT on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you guys so much for participating in these virtual experiences with us, and we really, really appreciate your kind words of love and support. We really hope to be able to come back with conventions soon. Okay, our winner is Avantika Sundar. Avantika Sundar.